are you?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. What have you been up to today?
Oh gosh, school, and then drum corps, and then more school.
Are you doing check-ins and stuff with drum corps right now, or what do you have going on with that?
Yeah, we're getting new music a lot. Like I would say like almost every week or every other week.
Mhm.
Um, so it's like just trying to keep like up to date with everything we have. So it's a lot, but I love it. So
One of my son's besties is marching crown this year, so he was talking about some of his check-in stuff that he had going on, and I was like, that is a lot of stuff.
yeah, for brass, I was actually just calling my brass friend today, and she was like, "Yeah, we have like all these video assignments," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like it just sounds like so much work, and I'm like, I respect the brass so much, but I could never do that.
Yeah, he's brass. I'll have to get you his info later so you can keep an eye on him for me this summer. So. Wanted to welcome you here, everybody that's joining. This is Marley Black. She's one of the conductors with Carolina Crown. So we're just gonna chit chat about Crown and drum corps. And if y'all have any questions for her, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We will try to make sure we address all of them. Um, let's see where we're gonna start. What have you been up to since last fall?
Oh gosh, it's just a lot of school. I think adjusting to college after drum corps, it's like I think I had like a week or two at home, and then it was like straight into college and like adjusting to that where it's like you've been around all these people and you go you go to college and you're just like, oh my gosh, I know no one, you know? And like I'm from Charlotte, I'm going to Penn State, so it's like 9 hours away. So it's so like I was very like disoriented at first, but that was a lot. Um, and then it feels like right after finals, we're just jumping back into like drum corps again. Like they're doing auditions right after, and it's like, oh my gosh, the season just ended, but now we're preparing for 2026, and it's like it's crazy to think about.
It is. It happens really fast. So are you a freshman in college then?
Yes.
All right, what are you majoring in?
Well, so I'm actually transferring. I was a health policy here, and then I'm transferring to Tennessee, which I'm really, really excited about, and I'm doing music business there. So
Very cool. That would be really neat.
yeah, I'm excited.
We've got a couple of questions in the chat already. I want to go ahead and run those by you. I want to kind of lump a couple of these together. Is it hard to be a drum major? How do you conduct? What's the biggest challenge as a drum major?
Oh gosh. I think the hardest thing is just like, especially at Crown, there's a lot of pressure on the drum majors. Like, I think that's just in general too, is like you have to be the one that's like always showing up. So I think that can be difficult. And you have to know your music. Like, I think that was the thing that really got me the first audition camp was like, how well do I actually know my music? Like, that's a big thing. And then I think just leadership wise, it's like how well can you show for the core? You have to show for yourself, but then you also have to show for all these other people that you're basically like taking care of for like 77 days on tour.
Right. What are some of your jobs and responsibilities as a crown conductor?
Oh gosh, last year was a lot. Um, I make like Met presets. That was a big thing. So like making sure that like all the sections have that, and then obviously like learning the whole show. And then because last year I wasn't technically like in a leadership position, I was kind of more learning what the core was doing, and then like helping in like the little ways that I could to then hopefully get to a leadership position this year.
I gotta ask, and I'm not sure if I gave you this as a preview question or not, but were you a drum major in high school?
Yes, I was my junior and my senior year.
I think you're the first person that I've interviewed so far since I started doing this that was actually a drum major in high school because everyone else didn't conduct until they got to drum corps, which I thought was crazy.
I think that's so well. I think a lot of it too is like if it's you're a woodwind player, so like I'm a woodwind player, so like I was like woodwind to drum major to drum corps. A lot of people do like woodwind to drum major in drum corps, so it's like the pathways are always so different for really cool.
Yeah. Tell us, okay, so you started hinting on that a little bit. What was your high school band experience like, and how did that bridge into drum corps?
So there's like so many different backstories. I started marching in my eighth grade year, and at that time it was COVID, so it was like we called it parking lot band. So we all were like 6 feet apart with stands, and I remember doing it and just being like, "This is not for me." I was like, "This is not my thing." I like I don't know if I can do music. I don't know if I can memorize an 8 minute show. Like that's so much for me. And I remember vividly sitting on my sofa talking to my mom, and I was crying. I was like, I cannot do this next year. Like, I'm gonna quit. She's like, just do one more year. Like, just try it out. If you don't like it, you can quit. And obviously, I ended up loving it. And so I stuck with it my freshman and sophomore year, and that was marching as a woodwind. So I did flute and piccolo. And then my junior and my senior year, I did drum major. And then in the summer before my junior year, I went to a symposium at Western, which that's like my favorite camp. And we got to saw Crown rehearse, and I was like, I need to do this. Like that was where I was like, this is my thing, and this is so niche, but I have to do this. And so I think like before I even was actually a drum major in my high school, I was like, I need to work towards like this bigger thing. And so like I think for like 2 years almost, I was working to audition at Crown, which is insane to think about.
That is crazy. Hey, your buddy, is it Davin or Devon?
Divon.
He says, what's your favorite part about tour?
Gosh. I don't know. I like traveling. Like I'm a big traveler. Like I love the airport, but I think just like going to places that you wouldn't normally go to. Like I don't think on like a random day I'd be like I'm gonna go to Arkansas or I'm gonna go to Oklahoma. Like going to places that you would never think of. So I think that's pretty fun.
It's so crazy when I talk to people about some of the different places they stay when they're on tour, these random schools in these random towns. And, I mentioned my son's friend earlier, and like he got to camp at our old high school in Waxahachie last year when they were on tour. And I was like, oh, that's just so fun that I know exactly where he's staying. And like there's a random rural school in Northwest Arkansas that's hosting Music City this year. And I don't know, it's just I don't know. I guess it's all people that know people that that just find spots for y'all to go to.
Yeah.
How do you? This is another question I didn't put on the list. Sorry. How do you handle the whole sleeping situation when you're on tour with drum corps? Like trying to just have some quiet or be comfortable. Like, what's your routine?
I think, well, when it comes to like gym time, I'm so tired all the time that I will just knock out. Like, I will just fall asleep. So everyone's like, how did you just do it? I'm like, I'm tired. So gym was always easy. And then when it was the bus, I had like a neck pillow, which I never have used one, but I was like, I'll try it on tour. I put it on and I was like, somehow this is comfortable. And I fell asleep every time. I always listen to music. This is so funny. I would listen to music and I'd have my AirPods in. And I would wake up whenever we got to the school, and my AirPods would not be in my ear. And so when like a lot of people would know that we got to the school when I turned my Find My on for my AirPods, and it would just like start ringing, and they're like, "Oh, I guess we're here." And I was like, it was so funny.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with them. Let's see. For the kids watching this who are unsure about whether they have what it takes to be a drum major or be in drum corps, what advice would you give to them?
I think a lot of it's just going for it, and I know that's like I think a lot of people say that because it's like you know, oh well, you got the spot, you went for it, you did the thing, you got it. But I think that like just auditioning and just trying and like putting all your effort in and like sometimes yes it's gonna work out, sometimes it doesn't, but I think that like putting yourself out there is really important. So I mean I always told people like when they were asking me about Crown, I was like I wish I auditioned the year before. I know I wouldn't have made it, but I think that putting yourself out there like as much as you can and trying to get all that feedback is really important.
Right, getting that experience. We have a question. What's a funny story from when you were on tour?
I don't know. Let me think of one. Well, there were several times last season where it was raining. I remember it was raining a lot. It rained like the first week of our spring training, so we were always inside. But then it was raining a lot when you were on tour, so they'd be like, okay, go ahead and go outside. And then you'd go out like 10 minutes later, and then you'd have to go back in. So just the constant in and out was always, it was funny because you'd be like, oh, we have lightning, but we're outside, but then we have to go inside. And like, that was always a mess, but I don't know if I have a funny story.
Well, if you think of one, we can come back to it. Let's see. I already asked that. So you went straight into Carolina Crown then. Did you march any other corps or try out for any
No,
other
I
corps?
just did Crown.
Oh, that's so cool. Um, I need to know what are your must-haves for your bus box? And is there anything you can't live without when you're on tour?
I had Pringles a lot of the time, and I never had Pringles before. Like that, I wasn't like a diehard fan. I was like, oh, I'll try these when we were at a buy stop, and I always put like a little thing of Pringles in, and I would always eat that. And then when we go to the buy stop, my like go-to buy stop thing every time was a Coke Slurpee, and I don't know why. I would always go straight for the back and like fill my thing up and leave, and I was like, got my Slurpee, I'm good.
That's all you needed. What flavor of Pringles did you have to get?
I don't know. I think I was always trying different things. The plain ones were always just like if I was really tired, I was like, I'll just eat these and go to bed. But the sour cream and onion, that was pretty good too.
Jeff Chambers Music says, what moment in the summer made the work worth it?
I think the one moment that I was this is why we do this was at Allentown because a lot of the summer our show was like, I don't get it. I don't like the ending. And while everyone was saying that, we were working on like 80 million endings during rehearsal. Like we were constantly adjusting. And we went to Allentown, and I remember like having my back to the crowd, and we did the big like reveal of the ending, and like fate kind of coming and taking her over, and everyone
Mhm.
just like was on their feet, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we did it, and like that was my like people like the show, like that was my whole thing. I was like, people like the show, and you know that's why we do drum corps. People like it.
Yeah. I think about that now that you say that. It was one of those shows that I was like, okay, I'm into it, but I'm not into it. And then when you see the ending, it's like, oh, okay, this is so good. Um, okay, I didn't put this on the list either. I'm sorry, I keep going like on side quest here, but tell me about, are you allowed to say who or what type of person was in that hood? Like, is it like a secret?
No, so we had one of our he actually goes to South Carolina, so it's a guy. He's a color guard, and he was underneath there, and that was so. It was funny because his like idea of what his like uniform was and like thing changed all the time. So he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to represent, but he was like the idea of fate throughout the show, and then obviously like he attacks her, like fate wins. This is the whole idea, but yeah,
Yeah. Every time it came up, no one ever said anything, and I thought it must just be this mystery that no one ever wants to, reveal. So
that's so funny.
very cool. Let's see. What are some personal and professional goals you have for this next year?
I think one thing in terms of drum corps is like putting myself out there more. I think that last year, towards the end, I was like, oh, now I kind of get the vibe of the core. But at the beginning, I was honestly just trying to figure things out because you're so used to like, marching band in high school, and then you're like drum corps, and that's a whole other world. And so adjusting to that and understanding the routine of things was really important. Um, so I think I was so focused on like what my role was last year that I didn't get to like actually really enjoy the experience. So I think this year it's like I know what to do. Now I just gotta go do the thing and like really enjoy and live in the moment doing it.
Yeah. What was something that you missed from home when you were on tour that you weren't able to bring or that you just had to have as soon as you got back home?
I don't know if it's like an item, but I missed my dogs so much. I have two dogs. They're like I think 11 at this point. Their names are Pickles and Ranch, and I miss them so much. I think this year I'm gonna bring like a little picture because I missed them so much on tour, and I came back and I was like, oh my dogs. So that was
Oh, did you get to FaceTime them or anything?
I FaceTime my parents. They'd always be like, "It's the dogs." I'm like, "Oh, I think that's something you don't realize like you miss on tour. You're like, oh, animals. Like I miss a dog and just be able to talk to friends or like it's like little things like that where you don't realize that until you come back and you're like, oh, I guess I was there. I guess I did not have that."
They they miss y'all too because I know every time I'm about to have my third kid go off to college, and every time a kid is gone, like the cat walks around and cries. So,
Oh,
oh goodness. Let's see. Oh, I just now saw your random facts that you sent me. This is crazy. You have never had a Jump Core PB&J. What is that about?
so, well, everyone talks about how great those are. They're like, oh my gosh, like drum for PB&J, like the ratio of like peanut butter to jelly and whatever, and it's a whole like thing. And I haven't had one, and I think that I need to like save that moment for like my final day of my age out season, because I feel like that's gonna be like a big moment, even if it's not as good as like I'm making it out to be. I think I need to like just hold this until I age out. I don't know.
I was impressed at like the hundreds that people had eaten last summer, but I might be more impressed that you've never eaten one. So that's crazy. Well, whenever you have your sandwich at Age Out, let me know so I can be there. Um, okay, you had two band directors march Crown. Well, that's so. Is that why you
well,
obviously got to see Crown, but was that one of the reasons why you wanted to join Crown?
well, I remember I like vaguely remembered it when I was in middle school because they had both happened to be middle school directors. One of them was when I was in middle school, and the other one was when I had gone to high school. And the one in middle school when I was there would always teach us about drum corps and like history facts and everything like that. And I was like, I'm not interested in this. Like my attention span was not there, and I was like, I'm not a brass player. I can't do this. So I was kind of like out of it. And he was like, oh yeah, like I marched around, blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't care, like whatever. Then went to high school. The middle school band director had then changed, and he was like, I also marched crown. And then a lot of things started to click where I was like, oh my gosh, like I had this other guy march crown, my other director. When I was in middle school, that director was the first group that ever marched crown, which I think
Wow.
is insane. And then the new middle school band director was in 2019, so it's just crazy, like all these weird connections. But
Yeah. I know Crown tends to be a local favorite where I live because our high school director marched Crown. And so, like, when the kids start talking about it, they're like, I'm going to march Crown. Um, you almost quit marching band after eighth grade. Would you say that was more of a COVID thing and because of that atypical experience you had, or was it just like so much of a big shift that you're like, I don't know if this is right for me?
I think COVID was a little bit of it because you're just like it was like the first experience where you're trying marching band, and it was not marching band at all. Like we were doing
Right.
stand tunes in the parking lot, and then it was like spring football or something weird, and so we would be in the stands like 6 feet apart. You wouldn't talk to anyone, and like you're just doing stand tunes, and you're like, this is not marching band like at all. But I was like, I don't
Yeah.
like this, so why am I gonna like the whole season of this? But I'm
Right.
glad my
Right.
mom forced me.
I'm glad you toughed it out and finished out the season at least and got to
Yeah.
experience a normal season. Um, Man, we are flying through stuff here. Let's see if anybody else in the chat has any questions. I think there was one I accidentally. Oh, what's the hardest pattern to conduct?
I don't know. I think that like they're all like challenging in their own ways. That's like such a bad answer, but I think that like I think anything with like 7/8, that's my like challenge one. That's like I'm really like I don't know. It's always so weird because you want to have like an extra note. You're like, oh, it's gonna be 8, but it's not, and so you're like thrown off trying to count it. And it's like it gets such a mess sometimes if it's not like perfectly even. So that one, that's my challenge pattern right now.
Now, when I met you in Indy last year, I know y'all were repping Silent Command and talking a little bit about them. Tell me what Silent Command is, and 'cause I don't know a lot about it. I kind of know the gist of it, but maybe for someone who's just hearing about it for the first time, what it is.
Yeah, so it's an organization. I'm a private lessons instructor for Silent Command, so I help teach students lessons that either want to be in drum corps as a drum major or want to be a drum major for their high school or just want to learn conducting in general. And there's a bunch of other like drum corps affiliated people with it. So they might be drum majors, it might be brass members, it might be color guard or percussion. There's a bunch of different instructors, and they teach anyone who wants to learn, their instrument and get better at it and audition for drum corps. And I think it's like a seamless way to like slowly get into the activity and like discover if you're actually really interested or not. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been with the company for I think almost several months now, but it's really fun. I really love it.
So are the lessons that you give virtual to other students? Is it
Yes.
okay, okay. And how do they pair you up with someone?
So you sign up for your own, like if you're really interested in like Crown. I've had a few people that want to audition for Crown and they sign up for me. Or if you want to do Santa Clara Vic, or I know Megan, who's the head drum major there, also does lessons. So you can sign up with her. And I think it's such a good way to figure out like if that's the right culture that you want to be in and the right core, and if you can adjust to their conducting style. So
Something I learned recently was that there was a East Coast and a West Coast style, or is that what they called it? I don't, it was something like,
I know there's that with drumming. I was actually, this is so funny. I was literally looking that up yesterday because they always talk about that in percussion world, and I have no clue with anything percussion. And so I was like, East Coast versus West Coast drumming, like, what's the difference? I still haven't gotten a clear answer, but it's so, that's like a whole thing too. And like, there's like this rivalry, and like, I don't know what's going on half the time. Like, they do like the little East Coast chant during the drill, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what
yeah.
any of this means.
Well, and I think some of them were saying is it East Coast is more rigid conducting and West Coast is more bouncy to like,
Think so. I think that like I'm thinking of Blue Devils right now. There's this very like bouncy Phantom
yeah,
Regiment is also there's this kind of fluid. So I don't know what
that's
they're also
true.
like in the middle of the like I'm like thinking of the map right now. They're
Yeah.
kind of in the middle. So it's like I don't know. It's always weird. Like every corps has their own style, but I think that like I don't know. You just gotta find the style that fits for you.
Does Crown have any groups that, some groups of drum corps have like a sister corps or a corps that, they connect with over something. Does Crown have any ties with any other corps of any kind that you
I
know of?
don't know. I've thought about that because I know some. Like I know Phantom Regiment and Cavaliers kind of have that like rivalry thing, but I don't know if Crown has anything like that.
I learned the hard way. Well, I say the hard way. I went to pick up my son's friend at the Colts at the end of the season when they were having their little farewell thing, and I had a core T-shirt on for another core, not my kid's core, but a different core, and he said, "You cannot, under any circumstances, wear that in here. Don't do that." And I, like I wanted to do it just because he's like, "No."
You're like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Anyway. Hey everybody, if you are just joining, we've got Marley Black from Carolina Crown on here, so feel free to drop in any questions y'all have for her. Marley, do you have any close friends that are marching other corps this summer?
I actually this is funny. There's a drum major that was 2 years older than me, and she is actually now the head drum major at Blue Stars. So I know Jolie, like we went to school together. And that's always really fun. Like I'll see her at like different show sites. I'm like, Jolie, like it's like a little interconnection. And then we have some other people from my high school, which is really exciting, marching at Music City. So it's fun seeing more people, especially like I'm from North Carolina. That's not really like the big like Texas or like Indiana kind of schools. So like
Mhm.
seeing more people in the area get involved is really exciting.
Oh, that is exciting. Now, what is the show that's closest to your hometown?
I think it's Night Beat. So it's
Okay.
in like Winston-Salem. That's my home
Okay.
show.
Do your parents get to come out to that one or anybody
Yeah,
from, your area?
they've gone to that one, and then they surprised me at there was one in River Bluff, which is like just like a small high school. And it was like I think it was Crown Beat is what it's called, and they went there, and I didn't know that, and they surprised me with my friend too, and I was like, oh my gosh! So that was really
Oh,
fun.
that's sweet. Now, I think y'all are going to go to a show in Tennessee this year. Like, is it the Smoky drum drum something Smokies? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We were discussing yesterday possibly going to that one because I think we're going to go hang out in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge for a few days. So I think we'll probably come to that one and see y'all. But I don't know. There were like 4 corps that were confirmed to go. I'm like, might as well time vacation with that. So, what was your favorite location to visit? Oh, no, no, no. I know what the question is. Who had the best showers last year?
Best showers. Oh.
Isn't that a thing? Don't y'all rate the showers for
Yeah,
y'all
I
stay?
feel like there was one school that was really bad. It was insanely cold, and like that was miserable. I'm trying to like shower. I feel like
Oh
there was
no.
one new school. Don't remember. But like, I think it's funny talking about showers. I like you do the whole drum corps shower thing, and that's weird. And then I came to school, and I remember calling my mom, being like, "Oh my gosh, like there are doors on these showers. Like that is so like that's amazing." And my mom's like, "What happened over the summer? Like what did they put you through?" And I thought that
Yeah.
was so funny.
So I guess for someone that knows nothing about that and they're thinking about getting into drum corps, what do they need to know about the shower situation?
I think everyone makes it out to be so much more than it actually is. I think everyone's so concerned about like oh my gosh, like everyone's looking at me, and I'm like everyone is not looking at you. Everyone is just trying to like get their stuff done and leave. Like I think everyone's
Yeah.
so like I just and you also like don't have much time sometimes to shower, so you're just like I need to like shower and then get out of there. So no one's like
Yeah.
freaking out about it. But I think everyone that was the whole thing when I first came. I was like, I cannot do the shower situation. I'm so scared, but it's like you gotta
Yeah.
do what you gotta do.
I have heard that the singing in the showers is amazing, though, is what I've heard.
The girls never did anything, but the guys would sing the national anthem, and you would hear it when you were just showering, like across the hall. And you're like, they're singing, and it would just be. Sometimes it would be like 2 in the morning when you're showering, and you just hear that, and you're like, well, I guess the guys are in there.
That's really random. Um, okay, let's see if I've got any other questions. There was something way up here that passed before I was able to get to it. I lost it. I don't know what it was. Did you ever think of anything that was funny when you were on tour?
Oh gosh.
What was
Well,
your
there was
favorite
one
meal?
time. I remember
Oh,
there
go
was
ahead.
one time where I didn't experience this. Well, it was in Virginia, and we had a show, and it got rained out. And we were on the bus, and they were like, "Just go in the bus, like it's about to pour down." So we all ran, and some people were stuck putting the props away because like it was just a mess, and like we didn't get told it was canceled until very very late, and so we were putting the props back in, and then they were like, you need to go in. Like it's lightning, like 3 steps outside. Like you have to go in. And then someone got a video of it. It like lightning and all like the power went out and like our food truck and whatever. And it was so insane because it's like it was so loud. And so everyone has a video that goes around and you'll just see it like I'll see it every few weeks. I'm like, oh, there's a lightning video.
Yep. Speaking of the food truck, what was one of your favorite things to eat when you were on tour?
There was so my friends actually her mom is the like food truck manager, and I would always be like, can she make this? I need this, like I need to do this. It's called she called them KFC bowls, and I like that was my favorite thing. It was mashed potatoes, chicken, I think it was like corn and gravy, and it was like such an odd combination, but that was like my favorite thing. I was like, this is so so good, and
Does sound
like
like KFC.
it was so like I think it almost seemed really southern to me that I was like, this is like home, like this is the South. So
Oh goodness, there was something I was going to ask. Oh, I know. Someone else had mentioned that even as a drum major, their shoes just got totally worn out when they were on tour, which I was surprised because I know if you're on the field marching, they get worn out, but how many pairs of shoes did you go through?
I think we only were given one, but they didn't get too terrible because you were kind of told like when to put them on and like when to take them off. Like you had a certain time, and then we also had straps at the bottom of our pants that you would put underneath. And I think that was what got ruined most of the time because a lot of the friction would just like completely snap it, so that got ruined. I
Like your
don't.
personal shoes, like your personal tennis
Oh,
shoes in
shoes,
the summer.
shoes. I was thinking
Yeah.
show shoes.
Okay.
I only had two, I think. So it
And that
wasn't
lasted you.
it wasn't awful. I had Hoka's, and I don't remember what the other one was, but they were really 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 good. I think like everyone always talks about investing in shoes, and like I definitely agree. I think that like your feet hurt so much more. Like brass feet hurt because they're moving, and I remember standing like even just running meant like you're standing in the same spot, and your
Mhm.
like heels just kill you.
How much sunscreen do you think you went through?
Oh my god. Multiple. I started with spray, and I think that was my problem. Was I started with spray, and I would just like do so much that I didn't think about how much I was actually using, and then it was so late that I was like, I should not have used spray. I need to do like the lotion stuff. And so that was my go-to. But I think I went through a few bottles of that.
My son went through so many cans of spray. I don't even know. It was ridiculous. Every time he was buying stuff, we would get more. When we went down to Belize recently, I had to, wear a ton of sunscreen. I burn really easy, but my husband always tans. I don't know if you're like a fraction of a millimeter closer to the sun or what, but man, he got burned so bad. And I had put sunscreen on him, but it was bad. All right, we are at time. Let me see if we got any more questions. Was there anything else that you want to talk about that I forgot to bring up?
I don't think so.
Okay. What's your favorite drum? I don't know. Do you have a favorite drum? What's that seems like
I
a
don't
niche
think so.
question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Marley, it was so great to chat with you. And next week we're going to have an all-age drum major, the head drum major for Atlanta CV, Lydia Plink. I don't know how to say her last name. Lydia Plintinks. So, is there a question you want to ask her? I'm going to give you first dibs.
Oh, I think I want to know what her favorite meal is. I want to know.
All right, we will find out. Well, thank you so much for joining tonight. And I'm going to ping you about some stuff here in a little bit when we get offline, but I will definitely see you on tour this summer.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, have a good night.
Bye.